Hello, it's Vicky from Free From Limits, and I've just come out of a spinning class, so I am sweaty, and I'm sitting in my van, and it just occurred to me to record a quick little video about thoughts, and I'm going to refer to thoughts that are fearful, undermining, negative, full of lack, scarcity, fear, any of those kinds of thoughts. I'm going to refer to them as Bob. So if you haven't heard me talk about Bob before, Bob is that voice in the head that is constantly telling you that things are wrong, things are going to go wrong, you're wrong, they're wrong, life's wrong, everything's wrong. He is the voice of doom, if you like. And it occurred to me, because I've had an interaction with two people today who were struck by Bob, if you like. So Bob had appeared with some doom and gloom message, and it looked really true, and that's what Bob does. Bob kind of he's pretty good at like plucking ideas, plucking thoughts out that seem absolute truths, and they get us into like, oh my god, yes, oh my god, that could happen, or oh my gosh, yeah, I am really bad, or I really shouldn't have done that. Like they create a reaction in us, let's say, that is tight and unpleasant, and it doesn't feel good. And it occurred to me while I was spinning this morning that he still rears his head in me as well. Like he still has things to say, and of course there are times when I listen, like everybody. We all get caught out by those thoughts. But okay, I'm going to give an example. So we are due to fly out to Dubai on Friday as part of a big trip that we've had planned for quite a long time, as the kids have finished their GCSEs and A-levels. And so Bob is quite active at the moment in like, oh my gosh, you're going to be right next to Iraq, like it's all kicking off in the Middle East, it's not safe, why would you take your family there, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, that's just there. Like, of course it's going to be there, because of course, those thoughts are going to arise given the situation. And I can pay a lot of attention to that, or I can just notice they're there and kind of not focus in on them. But what I would say is that the half of the reason why we're only just doing this trip, so we've done quite a few trips with the kids over the years to European countries. We went to New Zealand to visit my dad, but we've never been on any kind of adventurous trip, and that's basically because of Bob when I look at it. So sorry, I'm really sweaty. So Bob had a lot to say about taking the kids to countries that were unsafe or potentially unsafe. He had a lot to say about how we would get food for my daughter who's got celiac disease. He's had a lot of input, and that input has been believed. And so, basically what happens is when we listen to Bob, our behaviours and our actions flow from listening to him. So if we're listening to him and he's saying, you really shouldn't go to this and that country because this might happen and that might happen, and how are you going to cope with this and how are you going to cope with that, then obviously we're not going to go. But Bob doesn't know anything. Bob literally knows nothing. Bob is just a collection of ideas, beliefs, thoughts that have been picked up on your time on the planet. They're not truths. Bob doesn't know what's going to happen in the future. Bob has no idea about what happened in the past. He makes up stories. He's a storyteller, basically. And we're not told to that we don't need to pay attention to him. We're not told that. We're not educated to know that. We're not told that at all. And so we listen to him more often than not. And it occurred to me that there are times when we don't listen to him. A lot of times when we don't listen to him, and we don't really appreciate that. We get caught up in the times when we are listening to him and we're like, oh my God, why am I so scared, and why can't I just ignore Bob and get on with my life? But I bet there are multiple times in the day when Bob rears up and you don't pay any attention to him. Things like, oh, you really shouldn't eat that chocolate biscuit, or oh, I really hate work, I don't think I can be bothered to go today, or I really want to split up with my partner, husband, whoever. You know, we have these thoughts, they pop into our minds, but we don't pay attention to them. Like, they can be there, and we can eat the biscuit, we can go to work, we can give our partner a cuddle. Like, do you see where I'm pointing to? So Bob is completely unnecessary for your thriving. In fact, he's detrimental to your thriving. And the moment that you see that there's no truth in what he has to say, and whatever he has to say is always scary, and it's always negative, and it's always from a fear place, I guess. And so when Bob is doing his thing, the question I ask is, what's true right now? What's actually true? What's right here? What's here now? What can I touch? What can I see? What can I hear? So I come back to here, not what Bob's saying, because Bob's up here. Well, metaphorically, obviously, he's not. There's not a little man sitting in your head, as far as I know, or woman. Could be a woman, but there isn't one sitting up there. There's just thoughts passing through that you're aware of, and then you're not aware of. And the less attention you pay to Bob, the less bother he causes you, I guess. It's the only way to describe it. I mean, this is talking like, you know, as if there is a real person. There isn't. It's just thought. Anyway, that's, I think, all I wanted to say today, is really just like, if Bob is here, there's nothing to be done about it but to notice that Bob's here. And Bob can be here, right? It doesn't mean anything about you getting on with your life. Bob can be narrating and you know, like, he's present for me right now. Like, oh my God, what are you doing? Going to Dubai, da da da, blah blah blah. And I'm going to spinning, and I'm going to go to the post office in a minute, and I'm going to go to the allotment, and I'm going to do some work. And, you know, like, let Bob do his thing. And the less you try to do anything about it, the sooner that he just doesn't bother you so much. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. If you've got any questions or anything that comes as a result of watching this video, then give me a shout, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.